Welcome to Season 2 of the More of That podcast.
Art, beauty, music, Jesus.
What?
Art, beauty, music, Jesus.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Season 2, Engage.
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 So in our off season, we've been working on a kids album. We're calling it the off season. Maybe it's the most prolific thing we've ever done. That was it.
That's it?
Just wanted to drop that in the pond.
Okay.
Just to see
Let
what
the ripples?
Just let the ripples go out.
All right.
Yeah, I'm loving the no rules, especially when it comes to, especially just the Shiloh music in general. It's I don't think we're the only ones who are writing songs from that perspective at this point. And it just feels like there's sort of a world collaboration on like just musical freedom.
There's a merry band of carefree creators.
Ooh. Oh, you're taking me to the bird song. I just want to get my jaw harp out.
Carefree creators. Yeah, while you're creating, like, to stop judging it while you're making it and make it.
Yeah.
And whatever it is, and
Yeah, it's like this. It's like the.
clean it up later.
Did you guys ever see that? Like, I don't know if it was like a little mini documentary or who was it? Might have been comedians in cars getting coffee. I don't remember what it was, but it was like a behind the scenes look at Jim Carrey, his like art studio.
Yeah, I saw that. It was Comedians in Cars.
Okay, I thought that's what it was. Yeah, and it was just like tons of like paintings everywhere. Not some of them were hanging and things like that, but it's just like you could almost like the records here behind me. You could kind of pull through them, and it was just like a creative dump. Like, here's all this. It didn't have to be like, here's one piece. Now I want to figure out how to share this piece with everybody, or I want to, hang it in downtown or in a gallery. It was just like, it was like he was creatively dumping out all this art.
How do I market this piece?
How do I market this art? Yeah. That is. If you're not
that ends up choking the art.
Would think.
Yeah.
Don't choke your art.
I mean, marketing can be an art too. I don't mean
Marketing is an art.
Yeah, it's just in a creative process, but it's
right.
I think it's separate than if you're combining the two and making something that you think is marketable or has been marketable. I don't want to do that. I mean,
right.
Other people might.
Well,
Might be
we
really
said
good
the
at it,
ripples
but
in
I'm
the
not.
pond.
That's what I'm talking about, yeah.
The ripples in the pond, I've always loved that analogy, especially in the sense that, like, what is, we could say lake, I don't like ponds, but like, what is the lake that we have around us? Like, we have people around us in our ecosystem. It could be friends, it could be family, it could be people that attend one church or whatever, but that's our lake. Like, we can throw a rock into that pond or that lake and see where the ripples go out. And so you don't have to like start from somewhere else. You just start from where you're at. And so I think from a grassroots level, as far as marketing, that's all marketing really is just sharing what you have with those around you, and then maybe those that you share it with those around them. And so then that's sort of the ripple effect. I think that's just the way marketing always was. I mean, now we have all these social systems and apps and there's this whole industry around how to market. You can see so many creators that still do have, I think, a sense of marketing anxiety, anxious about how to market. I feel fairly restful in that. Like, I think working together with you guys in the music that we're creating and this art and this beauty, I don't feel that anxiety as much. I don't know why, but I like it.
I feel no anxiety about it.
And maybe that's why I feel. maybe you rubbed off on me with that.
Totally at peace. I mean, we've alluded to this in previous conversations, but if we're enjoying it and we enjoy sharing it, then I mean that's really sufficient for me. That's sufficient motivation to continue with that form of expression and trying things, and the risk involved in that, which is a little different than thinking, oh, I've got to fly out to the middle of the ocean and drop this and
Make a ripple.
Like,
Not happening.
yeah, well, yeah. Well, I mean, that's what it can feel like.
Yeah.
With all the opportunities and avenues to share things that are out there, it's like, oh, it can certainly feel that way, and you can feel like nothing's impacting anybody. But if you know the people that you're sharing with, and you see those tangible results, that's really rewarding.
Yeah. I read something yesterday about food, like sharing a meal with somebody, is like a gateway into like rest and an opportunity to have conversations with people that you might not easily be able to have without food. It's almost like as people are in like eating together, your body, like, I guess it would be, biologically changes, the way your mind's processing, you know what I mean? Like you're tasting and you're chewing and you're nourishing, and it can lower defenses. And I was thinking about that with music too, like sharing like a musical meal together can have a similar, I'm putting that out there. I think it relates to the food thing. Like sharing in creative energies together, it does something, it lowers defenses. It can create opportunities for conversations and things that otherwise wouldn't have. Food. Yeah. I say that because you're a great chef and a great cook. So I know you probably relate to that, but.
Well, hearing you talk about it reminds me that in the realm of like relational connectivity, the lowest relational connectivity being transactional, something like food and sharing a meal kind of it could be used transactionally or whatever mode or whatever, but like in theory it is shared. It is it's not transactional. It's a lot of times a gift, or a lot of times just a place to where it doesn't feel transactional, feels like a different way of connecting, a different relational connection, And so I think in that sense, this is just the way that I'm hearing it, that there's no imposition on someone with a meal in that way, or the music in that way. You're not looking for anything in return necessarily in the transaction. You could be, don't get me wrong, but like I think at the heart of it, in the heart of like being creative and being and sharing what you have, and I think that's a part of the gift of the art, is that you get to share it, and that there could be connection for people with it. Yeah.
It can feel awkward sharing art. It feels less awkward sharing a meal. And I like what you just said. I think you made up a word, and I like it. You said transactional. You said it a couple times instead of transactional. But there's something there though. But I like it. No. But I liked it.
Transactional.
Yeah, it's transactional. It's factual. Everything is satisfactual.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Doo-dah.
Well, thank you. I'm glad there's someone that knew what I was talking about.
I was with you. I knew we were going zippity doo-dah. I was just...
Yeah.
I only brought it up because you said it twice. So I was like two or three times. So I was like...
Transactional. I meant
That's a good-
transactional.
But yeah.
That is
I was like, that's
funny.
a cool combo. I was like, that's a good combo.
That's not a mistake I would have thought to have made.
But yeah, the art and beauty, that's where you get the authenticity, and because sharing a meal too though can be very intimidating, and you're waiting. Do you like it? Are you going to eat it?
Oh, you mean like if you made the meal?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
And sharing that, or you're bringing things together collaboratively in a meal that somebody else may have prepared, and they did a part, and does it work together? That's
Yeah. This article was kind of saying that food has a way of lowering defenses, I guess is what it was saying. And so it's like, So personally, if I shared a meal with someone, and I've shared meals with you guys, and we can have conversations over those meals that we probably would not have had we not been eating a meal in that moment. So I'm wondering how much of it was just because we were sitting down eating a meal together and just had that opportunity to talk, or how much of the food was tied into that. And then if we swap food for music or art or creation, how much beauty can come out of that if we're sharing our art in the way, and with ease in the way we might just share a meal together. And then it lands me at like, he came to the table with friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's interesting because in this last few weeks, a painting contractor that I hired was on site, and I had made cookies, and I gave him cookies. And the next day he was
Will paint for
he
cookies.
was asking about that, and he was really grateful, and you know what I mean. And then we ended up talking for an hour just about like, started with the cookie and went to like health and how his health journey has been a way of experiencing hope in his life, but he's looking for more. And it's just, and it was just like
It's like a gateway.
we just had a great conversation. It was just really over, you know, it started with a cookie, but again, it's like you said, something like that.
Yeah.
Just,
But it wasn't
can drop
just any,
defenses.
hold on, it wasn't just any cookie.
It wasn't
Yeah,
just
let's
any
not say
cookie.
it. Let's
No,
clarify.
but
the
this
cookie.
does matter. I think not
No,
only
for sure.
for the sake of what kind of like what the cookie is and everything, but it wasn't just any cookie.
Right.
It was a homemade cookie.
Yeah.
Or tell us about the cookie.
Yeah,
and then I'll make
Dan,
my
tell
comments.
us about the cookie.
Tell us about the cookie, Dan.
Okay.
What's in the cookie?
The cookie is made with very simple ingredients. Fresh milled flour, which is, we make our own flour because it's the healthiest flour. It has 40 of your 44 daily nutrients in
Yeah.
it. So we make our own flour. We use organic cane sugar. We use local egg. And then when it comes out, and it is just like, it almost melts to that flattened state, but it's got that gooey texture, color to it. And so it's an amazing cookie, and we love it. We make it all the time. We enjoy it all the time. And it's good for you. It really is good for you.
They're delicious. I've had them.
Yeah.
They're delicious.
Yeah. And yeah, we like sharing them, but that's,
Okay.
those are the ingredients, and that's the intentionality that we put into
Just care.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a passion in the cookie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you weren't sharing a cookie, you were sharing a passion in the form of a cookie. And you were sharing a bit of yourself and your life and your journey. It just happened to take the form of a cookie.
Right.
So when you saw the painter the next day and you talked about the cookie, now you had a conversation point about the cookie. Now he could have come back and said, I didn't like the cookie. You still know it's a good cookie
Yeah.
because you know what went into it and how it was prepared and the passion that. And so he may not have thought it was, Lucas thought the cookie was delicious. I do as well.
Yeah. Especially right out of the freezer.
I don't know why I don't have more cookies. I mean, this
Yeah, I'm like,
podcast
why
would
did
be
you
so
bring
much
cookies, man?
better with cookies, but that's fine. If you're asking me if I'm accepting the cookies, I'm accepting all.
I'll
Right.
paint for you. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, that was the thing, is because the reason why he brought up the cookies, because he would normally have said no, and he hadn't had a cookie in a long time.
So he was on a health journey.
So yeah, he's just been trying to make sense of this hope and this health that he's trying to pursue. And he was like, you offered me a cookie, and he's like, I thought of every reason why I shouldn't and haven't had a cookie and did it, but I wanted to do it just, you
connect
offered
to
it, you offered it, and I wanted to take it.
He saw that cookie. There's the connection.
and he's
point.
like, and so, but I kind of want to know about the cookie. And so that's where,
If you'd offered an Oreo, he probably would have declined. Not busting on an Oreo, but
Yeah.
that's double
I would have.
stuff.
I would have declined double stuff.
I don't
I'm
know
gonna-
why they-
I'm gonna jot
why do
this
they make
down.
regular stuff. That is
fresh milled
how-
Oreo.
What's
Sell
up with the
those.
thin Oreos? What is
Well,
that?
I don't know.
Extra
We had a
thin?
conversation about this many years ago.
Yeah.
When they came out with, because they had the original Oreo, and then they had the double stuffed Oreo, which
It's an Oreo upgrade.
it is. That's what the Oreo should be, is the double stuff. And if anything, the original should just be 50% less
Less Oreo.
filling.
Then
or
why go to
whatever.
those micro thin Oreos? Is for what?
So
It's
unnecessary.
for profiling purposes.
Yes.
Yeah, the government's tracking that.
Yeah, yeah.
You are on a list. If you buy
What's your Oreo type? Personality Oreo,
Oreo
type.
thins like more than once. I mean, everybody gets a pass. Like one time, you
Yeah.
grabbed the wrong ones, or
Yeah.
it was a mistake. You weren't thinking. You had a bad day. I don't know.
Well, my wife makes an Oreo cake, and she'll use the thin ones because you can layer more. Anyways,
Yeah.
that's the only time.
You should just know she's on a
Unless
list.
you
She's
are
on the list, right? She's
Unless
done
it
it
was
that way.
complimentary on your flight.
Right.
There's really no reason why anyone should be eating the.
All right, back
the
to your
Oreo
real
thin.
cookies. Back to the real cookies.
Oh,
Well, I'm making a note on the fresh milled Oreo.
a cookie. An Oreo cookie is 2 chocolate cookies with vanilla cream filling.
Mm-hmm.
That's an Oreo. So I understand the Oreo brand is used for other things, but those aren't Oreos.
No.
Like the
True, like the complimentary one.
Let's get down to the originals.
are the other flavors or whatever. I don't know what. Yeah.
Oh, blonde Oreos.
Yeah. What are we doing there?
Whoa,
blonde
whoa,
Oreo.
whoa, whoa!
I'm not saying I don't like them. I'm not saying they're not good. I'm just saying
That just went under the radar. Sorry.
Crunch that Oreo up into ice cream.
Ooh.
That's a whole new.
All right. So you shared your cookies.
Shared the cookie. Had a great conversation.
Your cookie is not an Oreo.
It's a piece.
It's in a league of its,
art.
it's in a league of its
art.
own.
Yeah.
You can taste the love.
Yeah, and it's shared. I mean, it started with my wife's passion for good health and good family health, and it became something that was easy to jump on board with, and delicious. So yeah, we haven't bought a piece of bread for the house in 2.5 years, but.
So
to the
in-
point of the cookie and the
Yeah, but in making a good cookie, or you have good ingredients, you have good intentions, you have a good plan, good execution of the plan, and then you have something that you really want to share. And I mean, I think in baking or cooking or or making art or music,
Yeah.
that those are the elements that we're looking for there.
yeah.
But sometimes, like if there aren't good ingredients or a good plan or a good strategy or good execution or good preparation, then we're not going to have something that we're really all that passionate about sharing.
Yeah.
And that's where I think the carefree nature of creating to say, we don't have to fit into this recipe or this genre that already exists. Instead, we can make whatever we want.
We can make whatever we want.
Yeah.
And the satisfaction is there.
But
we don't share everything.
But we have to mill our own flour.
Yeah.
And we've got to cultivate our own ingredients.
I think we get to. Yeah,
we
we
do.
get- yeah.
We get to. Yeah, we don't have to. Yeah.
well,
That's-
and the passion develops when you see that the work is worth it, and you're still doing it and you're still sharing it, and I think that's the joy of it.
We care about health, and when we're putting those special ingredients into what we're doing, and anything that's healthy usually requires more prep time and more process in sourcing ingredients and being mindful of all of that, because you care not just about making the cookie, but about how that cookie interacts with your body and your health and all of that. So that matters too.
Mm-hmm.
And when you take a bite of your cookie, you can taste that. And so that's, I think what we're saying is like the hope is we're intentional about ingredients and the process and what we're doing, because we want it to not just be ear candy, although that's nice too, but we want it to be healthy. We want there to be some health, and they want there to be something in it besides just so what are we making? Healthy Oreos? I don't know.
Yeah, and enjoy who you're doing it with, right? I know that there's, and then we have what we have to look forward to is the fun of continue writing and continue and exploring and.
Well, it's a reflection of what we value. So like in making cookies, Dan, that's a reflection of what you and your wife Michelle value. You value those things. You value the time that goes into it. You value the process. You
Authenticity of the product.
You value having something you're proud to share, and that's very representative of your value. And I think music is representative of what we value. So, I think lyrically. That's just how I think all the time. And even thinking about talking about music, I don't always get as excited talking about music that we've already made, because I'm thinking about music we haven't made yet, and so instead of thinking about, every song we've written has a story, I'm really wrapped up on every story has a song. So right now I'm writing lyrics about cookies, and cooking,
And the process.
and I'll at least
the recipe,
I'll at least write it. Probably not everything is to be shared. It is.
Not every song has to be made.
Yeah, not every song has to be made, but every story has a song, and there's a song that can go with it, and that's, I think, the fuel, and even maybe the making our own flour, the digging in and listening to the stories around, and hearing the music that goes with that story.
That's the way you've approached every song that we've written. Is there's a story, and every story has a song, and then that sends a trigger to, all right, what do those lyrics look like? How do you start sharing that story?
That's fresh milled flour.
That's a songwriter, not someone that's trying to write a song. That's just you're in the practice of that, and you're discovering in the stories, lyrics and that bring it to life and become art. Like our stories are art.
Yeah. Think of a voice to the story.
So it's every story has a song, and every good song has to have a storyteller. And I think at the core of coming to know you and who you are, I mean, you're a storyteller, and like you've told stories. You tell stories all the time, and you've told stories to us where it's like there's like you take us on a journey in that story, like an arc, and it will be, So I think that's a key part of crafting lyrics, is being able to tell a story, and not just a story that's in your own head. Because I can't remember the genre of music, and you guys are probably gonna be better at this than me, but remember there was like a genre where it was just like lyrics were being thrown at you, and with no real.
Grunge.
Like
Nirvana.
I was like
Nirvana. That's
Nirvana.
What Cobain said he was doing.
Whoa, those are really profound.
I'm not.
He said there's nothing to it. He's like, they're just words that fit with the music. That's what Cobain said.
Correct. So I'm not saying that.
True.
I mean, that was that song. Teen Spirit. Come on, I know that one. But yeah, like where you're almost having to like break out some kind of code cracker just to kind of understand what's happening in the song, But like being able to tell a story from the perspective of wanting the audience to understand.
Well, being a good communicator and
sure. Well, essentially what I'm saying, but
and
not every good communicator is a good songwriter.
Well,
absolutely.
Well, for sure, I would assume. I mean, but it's what are you communicating? So in a song, I think you're communicating all kinds of things. You're using words to communicate a song. You're using
melodies,
tempo and melody and
rhythm,
sound, but you're also communicating emotion. So, like I think like grunge, and when we're talking about that, I don't devalue the lyrical contribution there, because let's say there wasn't a meaning behind the lyrics that Cobain was singing, which is fine. If that's true. I mean, that's what he said.
It evoked a feeling.
If that's true, it evoked emotion in a fairly universal emotion, and the people who really enjoyed it
for sure
are emotions. And so it was very effective in creating that kind of communal experience and galvanizing people, which is a very powerful thing in music. And different lyrics, or lyrics that were more targeted, might not have had that same kind of emotional punch there.
Because there's more thinking going on, or what do you think?
Yeah, or more, I'm being manipulated or moved by words coming out of a modern mindset, which modern thinking was if you can prove it to me, if this then that, and here's the truth, and all truth is absolute, and there are no relative truths, and kind of that whole that line of thinking, and then that generation was moving into a postmodern way of thinking, which allowed for some vague and some gray and a lot valued emotion a lot more. So lyrical content that wasn't trying to prove a point, but was music that was evoking emotion would have been was, I believe, a very powerful thing.
Yeah.
Is a very powerful thing. And all that has great value.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. And I didn't mean to devalue that in bringing it up, but I think I was just drawing a distinction between storytelling and, being able, if you gave some, remember TED Talks, they give you like 15 minutes to tell a story. You don't, or 20 minutes, whatever it was, but you don't get that in a song. What do you get in a song? I mean, you could, but I mean, what do you get if you want to share that cookie with others you don't want to share a plate-sized cookie? You want to have a personal cookie.
Yeah.
Like, how long is that story? 3.5 minutes? You got to be able to do that well. You got to do that well. You got to be concise.
I'm just going through like the opening lines of so many of our songs, everything from, I don't smoke, but if I did, I'd roll my own, to she's a victim in her life. I mean, and all the way to, hey, inaction is the best course of action. Right. Locks on the door, but I've got no key. It's just like, where are those lines going? You know what I mean? Yeah. And what story is being told here?
Immediately starts showing something. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a part of the creative talent, the the ability, the skill to communicate, and just look at things from with the creativity that you have with that, and then and that's part of the recipe, right? And that's I love what you had said about Nirvana, because it's so true. It's not just the lyric; it's everything was evoking emotion. Everything is a part of that, and
Dave Grohl hammering drums.
Yeah,
just wailing on them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I had no clue what was being said, but I was fully invested immediately. Just the passion, just whatever. And it could have been in a different language. And I would have still connected in the way that I did, when I heard it. But.
Well, in storytelling, anytime I'm telling a story, I'm trying to connect with people and help them see themselves in the story. What does that? The universal thing is, regardless of age, life experience, socioeconomic factors, everything else is emotion. We all experience the same emotions. We all know what it feels like to be lonely. We all know what it feels like to be rejected. We all know what it feels like to be happy and satisfied. And we know, what it feels like to be afraid.
The human experience.
Yeah. And so emotion. So a story, a New Hampshire redneck drove to Nashville with his dog in a brand new truck. Like, you can, whether you've ever been to Nashville or New Hampshire or driven in a truck or had a dog.
It's like more of that now when I hit it.
Well, I mean, you can feel what it feels like driving into Nashville with a dog in a brand new truck, like what lies ahead, this feels like opportunity. This
open road.
This feels like a new adventure. This is a new beginning, a fresh start. What could lie ahead? Yeah. You probably aren't going with, driving, he lives just outside of Nashville and was driving into, his day job to work. No, that's not.
No, there's like possibilities here.
He had an old truck.
Yeah. Something's gonna happen here. There's a story, and we love that kind of story. We just love story.
Yeah. Why is that? Is it that we want to see ourselves in the story? Is it that?
Well, sometimes.
Is it that we're? Is it what was like? Well, we are limited. I mean, like, what do they say about the imagination? Right, it's limitless. Your imagination is limitless. Like, you can close your eyes and you can go anywhere you want. You can go to places that don't exist. And so, is it that we are trapped in a way? physically, like we're trapped in a sense of like where we are, where we're located, where we can be at any given time, and music can take us into some space that we're not, and it's like the journey.
I think it takes us to a space that we are. That the real thing is that we're not trapped. We are free, and story is really all we ultimately have. When you ask that question initially, like, why is that? Why do we like stories so much? I think it's all we have is the stories that we tell, the story of your life. Because we know the possessions mean nothing. We know that deep down intuitively. And we keep buying them, and we keep craving them, we keep longing for them, and trying to achieve and everything else. But achievement means nothing.
Right.
Advancement means none of these things mean, but the story, of your life, the story of your grandfather, or the story of, that the stories that have been handed down, the story of history. And that's the cool thing about stories is, are they true? That's where everybody gets really hung up on, like, oh wow, yeah. It's like, is that true? That's true. It's a story.
It's true. It's a story.
True story.
It's a true story.
It's true. Definitely true that it's a story, and that's a powerful thing. I mean, that's where like some people get like hung up on like myth and the power. They think, oh, they devalue myth. Where myth can actually reveal more about a people and their history and heritage than the history, the dates and times and wars and deaths and births and everything else. But what were the myths? What were the stories they were telling? What were the stories that lasted, that were handed down, that they kept sharing? And you look for the themes in those, and you learn about a people just like you would learn about a person. So we tell stories. And the cookie's a story.
It's a great story.
Yeah, there's a story in that cookie. It's not just a cookie. It's a story that you shared, and so that made a connection with another human, and they'll remember that.